Hello, the Pioneer viewers. As you know, our agenda is the Russia-Ukraine war. The war is in full swing on the front line and the developments are unceasing. The increasing Ukrainian attacks in recent days are significantly affecting the course of the war. In times of war, the resources of these states are mobilized. It is possible to see this in conflicts in many parts of the world. In security-oriented policies, the state mobilized their means. As a result, the security of the people is ensured. In international policies, there are determining factors such as security-oriented unions and international legal institutions. When we put all these pieces together, public opinion needs to be legitimately convinced in order to ensure security. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been met with outrage from many centers. Many states condemned the aggression and called it unlawful. Likewise, international courts have imposed sanctions, such as arrest warrants against those responsible. Major embargoes have been and continue to be imposed on Russia. All of this actually had one goal, and that was to prevent the Russian invasion. The Ukrainian army showed a strong presence against this invasion. The decisive attitude of the Ukrainian army and bureaucrats was one of the breaking points of the war. Russia was surprised to see a strong army and politics against them. Since the Ukrainian army shifted from a defensive to an offensive position, Russia has faced greater obstacle. The Ukrainian army, which has been organizing intensive attacks on the Russian troops, has been fighting with great devotion. In past few days, the Ukrainian offensive has inflicted heavy losses on the Russian troops. Now, if you're ready, let's analyze the latest developments together. A major offensive was launched by the Ukrainian artillery units the other day. After the missile attacks launched by the Ukrainian forces, many Russian targets were destroyed. The details of the attack were quite surprising. The attack, organized thanks to the data provided by the Ukrainian military intelligence, was pinpoint. Ukrainian artillery targeted the headquarters of the Russian Dnipro military group in southern Kherson. Ukrainian military intelligence had been monitoring the area for some time. The Russian contingent in the area was known to everyone, but the strategic information was not available. Ukrainian military intelligence was in search for this strategic information. The information obtained as a result of the continuous reconnaissance and observation activities was very important. Ukrainian military intelligence had the most critical information about the Russian headquarters in the region. Now it was only a matter of pressing the button for the operation. Ukrainian military intelligence had the most important information, such as the number of soldiers in the Russian headquarters, the changing hours, the conditions of the soldiers, the condition of the weapons and ammunition. Ukrainian military intelligence transmitted the information to the Ukrainian army. Then, the necessary preparations were made for the operation. Later that night, the Ukrainian army launched a missile attack. Before the Russian troops realized what was happening, they were hit by a devastating impact of the Ukrainian missiles. As a result, many Russian soldiers and weapons were destroyed. In September 2022, Russia announced that annexion of Kherson and the southern Zaporizhia region together with the eastern Donetsk and Luhansk region. However, the region are not fully controlled by Moscow forces, and Kiev's ongoing counteroffensive effort is focused on retaking the regions. The Dnipro forces targeted by the Ukrainian army are believed to have been deployed to defend the Kherson region. Ukrainian troops continue to advance in the ongoing clashes in the region. Ukrainian troops remain on the Russian-controlled eastern bank of the Dnipro River. The group of forces in the region was led by Colonel General Mikhail Teplinsky. Following the Ukrainian offensive, no information of Teplinsky's status was released. Teplinsky, who took charge of the unit in the region with a new assignment, was met with an attack by the Ukrainian army. The previous Russian commander, Makarevich, was reportedly removed due to the inconsistencies between the actual situation and his report. Therefore, the situation of the troops in the region is critical for Russia. The Ukrainian army maintains its positions in the region and continues offensive operations in the left sector of Kherson. As the Ukrainian army continues to implement its strategy's offensive plan, the results of previous offensive are becoming clearer. The main strategy of the Ukrainian army was to inflict losses on the Russian troops that would force them out of the war. To this end, Russian ports, facilities, headquarters, and airfields were targeted. In many operations, serious damage was inflicted on Russia. The images that have emerged in the past day show the successes of the Ukrainian offensive. In the previous day, the Ukrainian army had hit the Minsk Rapucha, one of the most important ships for Russia. Russian officials did not make clear statements after the ship was hit. The images that have now emerged show that the ship was dismantled after the Ukrainian cruise missile attack. The Minsk and Rostov-on-Don Kilo-class attack submarine was hit by a cruise missile and drone attack days ago while undergoing dry dock repair under maintenance at Sevastopol shipyard. Kiev said that the strikes were part of preparatory measures before trying to liberate Crimea. Shared satellite images shows that Russian authorities have since stripped Minsk bare, providing further evidence that it is damaged beyond repair. The attacks in Crimea, a central logistic hub for Russia's forces in the southern Ukraine, are intended to weaken Moscow's defenses. They have intensified in recent months, with the attacks focused on military targets to prevent Russia from moving equipment, weapons, and troops from mainland Russia to the peninsula. Ukrainian Defense Ministry experts said earlier that Ukraine has begun a strategy to demilitarize the Black Sea Fleet as part of these steps to finally liberate Crimea, which was annexed by Russia. The Ukrainian military offensive against Crimea has an important purpose. The Ukrainian military's attacks on the region are meant to destabilize it. They are also supposed to make the region unusable for the Russian army. Until the Ukrainian army launches a ground operation in the region and recaptures it, the Russian forces in the region should melt down. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the other day that Russia has lost control over the Black Sea and has retreated to the eastern part of the water areas. The Ukrainian leader is providing information to the public with his statements. In line with the information provided by the Ukrainian leader, the public is informed about the operational processes. Last night, the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine made a statement. According to the statement, the attack of Russian troops was prevented by the Ukrainian defense. The Ukrainian defense said that it shot down 24 of 40 Iranian-made Shahed 136 and 131 drones under Russian guided air missiles Kh-59, which were used by the Russian troops to attack Ukraine. How do you interpret the strategic offensive organized by the Ukrainian army? Do you think the Ukrainian army can succeed in its Crimean plan? How do you assess the situation of the Russian troops on the front line? How do you interpret the withdrawal of the Russian troops from the weakened areas? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.